Hi there. Welcome back to the Unite Pieces channel. Today, we will bring you the storyline of a movie called Last Man Down from the year 2022. This movie tells the story of John Wood, a former Special Forces officer who left his past behind and lives peacefully in a quiet place. However, one day a woman comes in injured, where this woman comes with John's former members in the past. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. At the beginning of the movie, we are shown with a Special Forces named John Wood. Here, John is being interrogated by General Stone regarding their previous mission to execute the inhabitants of a village exposed to a deadly virus. In the interrogation process, there is also seen John's wife who has been bound. Here, the general alleges that John helped the people exposed to the virus to escape because during the mission, John always defended them on the grounds that there was no evidence that they contracted a deadly virus. Then the general asked John where they were now. However, John claimed he did not know where the residents had gone. The general, who did not believe John's words, became upset and immediately killed John's wife. However, John was not killed but taken to the military court for trial. On the way, John hurried to escape by defeating the guards and conveyed his last greetings to the general. 3 years later, John, who managed to escape, now lives alone in a cabin in the forest. Until now, John has always been overshadowed by the memories of his past, about how his wife died before his eyes. Until one night, when John was daydreaming in front of a campfire, he suddenly saw a woman who was injured and then fainted in front of him. The next day she woke up, and it was discovered that the woman's name was Maria. Maria claimed to be being hunted by Special Forces because she had a very rare blood type, where her blood could heal people infected with the virus. Although at first Maria was frightened to see John, but John assured her that she was not part of them. He then removed the bullet lodged in Maria's body. After the process was complete, she fainted due to severe pain. When John saw the bullet, he realized that there was a tracking device inside. A few hours later, Maria, who had recovered from her fainting spell, tried to get out to breathe fresh air. John, who saw it, said that she could stay in this place for a while until her wound recovered, and if her wound had recovered, Maria was asked to leave because he did not want his peaceful life to be disturbed. The next morning, John was visited by 3 Special Forces looking for Maria. John looked very upset when one of them said that the woman was very dangerous because she was infected with the virus. They even decided to search John's house. John, who was fed up with the purpose of these Special Forces, quickly killed them. When a Special Forces man breaks into Maria's house, she quickly kills him. Here, John asks Maria to hide because other troops will surely arrive, but the stubborn Maria does not want to leave and wants to help John. On the other hand, we see a captain named Granite, who asks her men why the 3 men he sent have not returned. The henchman replied that maybe they were killed. Hearing that, she decided to send another troop, but only after getting approval from General Stone. She, who was upset, then vented her anger by beating her men, revealing how weak they were. At night, Maria and John were seen sitting in front of the campfire. There, John said that the troops would definitely come back with more numbers. Even so, they were ready to face it and had no intention of running away. John then told her that he used to be part of the army, and he said how his wife was killed right before his eyes because she was accused of being exposed to a deadly virus. Maria, who heard this, felt touched and unconsciously slept with John. The next morning, John was seen building a fort and preparing many traps for the incoming troops. Long story short, John and Maria were on guard waiting. When John returned home, 3 Special Forces appeared who tried to ambush them. 2 people ambushed John and the remaining one ambushed Maria. When they followed John, it turned out that John was ready with his weapon, and he easily finished off the 2 people, including the 3rd person who took Maria hostage. The next day, Granite and Stone were seen preparing troops to attack John's place. On the other hand, Maria was worried because they would not be able to withstand enemy attacks due to lack of weaponry. Then John showed his weapon storage, which was enough to destroy a platoon. After that, They again made various preparations to face the coming of the enemy. When Maria took water to fill the trap, here she was ambushed by a group of troops. But it was revealed that this had been planned by John, in order to catch the enemy off guard by capturing Maria. Just as the squad leader reported that he had captured the target, John suddenly arrived and executed them. After the group was defeated, they then went around to finish off other groups, and easily eliminated them one by one. However, the squad leader was not dead and immediately reported it to the general. Stone, who heard about it, felt angry, and immediately ordered Granite to send additional troops. When the additional troops attacked, they were also defeated by John and Maria quite easily. Stone, who heard that the second squad could not be contacted, angrily ordered Granite to send additional troops back with more numbers in order to find out what really happened. In short, 3 people arrived at John's cottage. The leader then reported that they could not find any of the bodies of the previous squad members, and only found a tunnel that led somewhere. However, suddenly Maria appeared and immediately shot at them. Granite, who knew her team was missing again, became frustrated and angry. Stone, who saw that, then ordered her to bring more troops to go down the tunnel, while he and some people would wait at the end of the tunnel. At the same time, John, who was traveling around to hunt down the remaining enemy troops, but in the process he was ambushed by the leader of the first squad who had not been killed, where the two of them engaged in a fierce duel, but in the end the exhausted John was defeated. On the other hand, Maria, who was hunting, also felt exhausted and was shot. Fortunately, it was not fatal because it only hit the vest she was wearing, but shortly afterwards she was drugged and captured, taken through the tunnel. On the other hand, John, who turned out to be alive, got back up and headed to the house, where he witnessed the remaining troops leaving through the tunnel. John then entered by cutting the road, so that he was reunited with the squad leader, and they continued their duel. Although John struggled at first, but in the end John managed to finish off the squad captain in a painful way. After rescuing Maria, they then proceeded to shoot with the enemy troops in the tunnel. But because the enemy troops were endless, here John ordered Maria to hide, while he would come out to try to fight them. After a long process, in short, John managed to get out of the tunnel, and saw many troops waiting at the end of the road. Without the slightest fear, John then approached them. Here Stone did not wonder why many of his troops died. It turned out that their opponent was John Wood. Stone then asked where Maria was. John replied that he had killed her. Of course, Stone didn't believe it, because John always defended people who were considered innocent. Here is revealed a fact that it turns out John and Stone are siblings. Because John would not reveal where Mary was, they immediately tortured John. Then, in a brave scene, John challenged Stone to a fistfight. If he won, then John would tell him where Mary was. In short, the two of them fought, although John struggled at first, but he managed to fight back and win the duel. Embarrassed to be defeated in front of his men, Stone then pointed a gun at John, which John quickly took and shot Stone, ending his life. With Stone dead, the leadership turned to Granite, and when Granite was about to execute John, suddenly Maria appeared from the tunnel, holding 2 grenades, and said she would surrender to them as long as they let John live. Granite agrees, and orders her men to take Maria and release John. The movie ends with John's pensive lament seeing Maria captured. He is determined to save her, no matter what. The end. What do you think of this movie? Please write your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit the like button, and support our channel by subscribing, so that we stay motivated to create more interesting content for you to enjoy. And until next time.